really do is back in the team that has chosen the map, right? Like, and on top of that, that team also happened to win the first map on Villa. What I will say though, Dev, is that Villa map obviously was extraordinarily close. It went to all 15 rounds. It was USG that had 4 match points, but it was BlueBees that got the win.
And that surely puts the momentum squarely in BlueBees' favor. As we move to Oregon, they will be starting here with... Did they get the first ban or the second ban? There you go, second ban. So we're starting on attack, and that does mean that Flores taken out really early by USG. Now, we talked a lot about Flores in map 1, right? I think it wasn't really played at the start of either team's attack half, but then on the last 3 attacks, both teams just really grabbed it and harnessed it to its fullest potential. The Flores and the Ace in particular revolutionized the attack success on Villa. And now Flores taken out once again. Ying to follow from BlueBees, so not really keen to be getting those explosive executes from USG. Ying, not something we'd seen from USG on their attacks on Villa, but of course Oregon, a much more viable map for that operator.
I was a little bit surprised to see the Flores ban from USG. Of course, they were very prominent uses of it on Villa, but as is known anyway, it was going to get banned out. So I guess they take that out of the hands of BlueBee anyway. Standard bans for BlueBees with the Ying and the Mirror once again, as you mentioned, from Villa, that they've brought over to Oregon as well, which makes sense. I mean, they actually are pretty standard bans, I guess, on both. They just must really hate Ying. I don't think it's definitely by no means a target ban, right? Like they banned it out as well extensively against Sengoku Gaming on all 3 maps, Dev. That was Bank, Clubhouse, and Villa. Every single time, Ying, Mirror, Ying, and then 1 clash because Mirror was already banned.
Yeah, that's actually that's so true. Every single Japan Championship match so far in the playoffs, BlueBees have banned Ying, and they've banned Mirror unless it's been bad against them. But, you know, Unsold Stuff Gaming are the ones here that have to really fight from behind. I think that we don't have as much expectation as we did on Villa for them here on Oregon. This is going to be a tough match for them. We don't have a lot of knowledge of whether they play this map very frequently. They haven't played it so far in the Japan Championship. It was going to be, they were going to play it back when they were lost to 7th. It was going to be a 3rd match in the Japan Open game that they won over the old USG roster, but it was unplayed. So it is at least in their pool.
10 seconds left.
Let's see how they go. Quite an aggressive lineup here. The Clash in particular, I like the idea. It wasn't so successful when they played it earlier. Really nice outside Valk cam. But it looks like Nelfer actually saw that cam get thrown on his drone, so that should be shut out very early from BlueBees.
Yeah. They've already got intel of that. They will be able to ping it out and get that camera taken out very early on. So BlueBees on the attack, USG on the defense, as it's already been sort of noted in this best of 3. BlueBees have a pretty aggressive attacking lineup. Typically Israel will go for those very hard roams, those hard flanks. The other 4 will play off of each other. But Oregon, typically defense sided. Donuts USG literally need a 4-2 half if they're to win this map. If they're to put themselves in a good position to win this map, I should say. It's not a given, I guess, but it's something that they need to really strive for here. So that's the expectations. They need a 4-2 defensive half. We'll see how BlueBees go on their attack, though, to really stall that one out. Jackal on Nalfa. So obviously we saw Israel play it a little bit on Villa, but they're going to help clear out a little bit here on Oregon. Pero watches big window.
Very typical attack, very typical defense. Couple of bits of spice thrown in the mix. I like this Prisma, going to make it a little bit more difficult for Israel to play here. I love this use of the secondary sidearm shotgun as well for BB. Oh, Israel actually did manage to punish Pero here.
Pero peeked it.
A bit too aggressive, yeah, on that double window, and that's a pretty significant early deficit as well. At least Pero can sit on the cams, but BlueBees have made some good progress now And as they start to put that pressure onto Clash, Clash actually might be able to enable a vertical C4 here from DD as Kawa's punished Israel.
Oh, they are expecting it as well. That Nitrosol is going to be DD's position down below is known. Kawao, though, finds the kill onto Sayachan. Oh, that Nitrosol is pretty good. I think it got shot out, though. Ruin finds the kill onto DD. That was down below. The swing, though, unsuccessful onto Palunga. Does die, though, so the trade at least has come out from Renren. 2 versus 2. Suddenly here on Kids Dorms, they've still got to deal with the clash, though, of Caillou.
Caillou knows where both of these defenders are, though, and that really changes the situation. It gives the defenders so much more mobility. As Nelfa has deployed that smoke, both smokes, that gives him free real estate to walk on through and take down Renzo. Looking for the second, then they know where Caillou is, hidden in the smoke, and now looking for a kill with the SMG. 1v1, the trade! Ruin saves the round for Blue Bees.
And if Ruin doesn't swing at that very moment, it's a very real opportunity that Caillou is able to get out of his line of sight. There would have been no time. He would have had to run over, get that diffuser down. He could have just played the hold game on the clash, right? Like, you could literally just stand in the corner and just force him to plant right in front of him. There's not much he would have been able to do. So big trade to win the round. Great start for Blue Bees. And it wasn't the sort of conventional approach from them that we saw on Villa, right? I mean, Kids Dorms, there's only so much roam game that's really going to take place. And it's more so, I guess, dictated by the defensive team on how they want to play it. Sometimes we see, you know, roams down below in basement, but it's usually not that extensive. So pretty easy for them to just basically clear over towards site rather than off-site, which is where obviously on Villa we saw a lot of action off-site. Here on Oregon it should be a little bit more towards on-site, which is why we saw Israel over towards double window rather than, say, going for those really long, extensive roams.
I will say though, like, while that was in the end a close round, a good round for USG, definitely, you know, I feel like a lot of it came down to that mid-round aggression that they managed to achieve, and I think that as the game goes on, Blue Bees is going to read into that more and more and be able to start countering it, start punishing any overextensions. Also, USG haven't really extended anything, even just like early presence over on the west side of the map, you know, areas like Dining. And that's really where a lot of teams will enter from this attacking side. They've got pre-placed drones. You can see Palunga's drone in Dining. That not being taken, I mean, it's such a common drone spot. Usually you, as a defender, you would have one of your roamers just really quickly go and check for common drones in these positions. But because they haven't done that, Blue Bees has had so much free real estate.
Yeah, the only sort of extension away from basement here is over towards Big Tower. As you said, nothing over towards Dining, nothing over towards Small Tower, nothing out west. And Ruin, if he sends this drone upstairs, yeah, there you go, we'll actually find DD there on the Wamai. Oh, gets pinged out. Easy swing this. That's an easy kill for Ruin. Oh, probably doesn't expect the peek from backstairs, but does at least keep his life intact, so that trade does not eventuate for USG. It's a big dub for Blue Bees because no more of the Wamai discs either, the magnets, to slowly sort of build up throughout the match. That gets denied from USG.
Once again, an early opening death as well for DD. It's a bit of a concern. That is his 5th opening death this series. There's certainly been struggle street in those opening engagements, overextending a little bit too much. Blue Bees have some strong positions now. They've got full map control, half the round gone. They found a pick. They've already started to encroach upon the bomb site, opening up these hatches. I'd say all over, that's a really strong start. Was that an aggressive retake attempt from Hero? Shut down, even though he did take a lot of damage onto Sayachan for it. Another aggressive position from Kawa on the laundry stairs, but Blue Bees have a 2-man advantage. That's slowly taken away from them, and no punish, no trade. There it is. Isro does get it. And Blue Bees are in a really strong position now.
And this round has sort of played into exactly what you prefaced before, that this mid-round aggression from USG, it's playing into the hands of Blue Bees. Ren over towards Freezer. Obviously can just watch, wait, deny with the gas babes. Only one left after that one was deployed. Sayachen has been taken down, but pillar control established for Nelfa and looking to get the pinch on the play. And Freezer under Ren was just sneaking up behind him. Caillou are the only one left. No chance, no hope. Basement belongs to BlueBees. 2-0 start here on Oregon.
That was definitely a more convincing round for BlueBees. They are starting to develop this momentum after winning map 1, taking USG's map pick. It looks like they might be able to get it done into a really strong attack start on Oregon. Ever so convincing that round, and like we've been talking about this whole time, that mid-round aggression from USG, being hard counted, being read into, and even when they find a pick here or there, the trade is primed and ready. BlueBees always there for their teammates.
Yeah, and worrying signs as well, because the fact is, Oregon typically defender-sided. This is also the map pick of BlueBees, so all you can really do from here is just think this is going to blow out to maybe being a very one-sided map. Great start on the attack, 2 opening rounds, sure, early days, but you kind of expect them to be able to get the job done defensively in the second half. That means USG need to find rounds here on their defense. They cannot allow BlueBees to get maybe more than 1 round. That means that they need to basically win, what, 3 of the next 4 rounds. And honestly, I don't know if I've seen enough in the opening 2 rounds to suggest that that's going to be a possibility. The mid-round aggression hasn't worked out for them. Does that mean that they need to employ some earlier aggression or maybe some late-round defense, Turtle on site? It's hard to really say.
Yeah, especially because they did have early aggression. Remember, it was DD who was in second tier of tower and just punished super early. You can see that they are actually leaning into this aggression. Here you go, once again. BlueBees, though, like, they're really thorough. What I think that USG need to do is they need to apply more appropriate pressure. Like, they need to be hunting these drones. Oh, he doesn't see the drone. Like, if USG, during the end of the prep phase, they go and hunt for pre-placed drones in dining, up in dorms, it's going to really slow down BlueBees. Because look, like, Isra already taken full control all the way up to the hallway. Pero flushed back into sight, literally 35 seconds into the round. Like, that is such significant progress from BlueBees because of all those pre-placed drones, because of the early live droning, and it's just leaving not enough time for USG to play around this.
Yeah, and even there, Isra there with the cheeky little wallbang over towards back stairs. They're expecting now, fully expecting these peaks and these angles, these positions to be held by USG. Of course, repeating, by the way, down below here in the 3rd round. But this is the turtle, I guess, right now. Over the next 50 seconds and the rounds prior, you would expect to see USG sort of take positions around backstairs or pushing up to the top of laundry stairs. So will we see that from them? Or do they just hold their positions, hold their angles now on site? 5 versus 5, so that's fine for BlueBees. They're fine if that does take place. But it does mean that USG would be switching it up a little bit.
You see, USG still trying to hold some aggressive angles, still trying to get that man advantage. There's a lot of time that BlueBees, if they don't have a man advantage, how will their execute look like? That's what we haven't seen yet. We haven't seen what it's like for BlueBees to try and do a 5v5 execute into utility, because that's what USG have a lot of. We've got the shield from both Alibi and Smoke and Echo. Plus, on top of that, we've got those Yokai drones. We've got so much utility to defend it. Here comes one of the Ash explosive rounds, and it does take down that hallway shield. Now comes the peek from Renzo, but taken down. Ruin shut out of this game. And Isro's got an aggressive position. It looks like while Donuts might have found first blood, BlueBees still have some strong positions.
35 seconds remaining. USG, finally, an opening pick and an opportunity to capitalize on it. Nalfa coming in through blue. There's the second follow-up one, this one from DD. The late round execution going much better for USG. Although DD loses that fight, 1 versus 3, that's it, 1-1-1. Round's over. Everyone falling over, and somehow it is USG that come out on top. Much better from them, a little bit more methodical in their defensive approach late round.
Yeah, and it goes to show, right? BlueBees are really good at countering aggression, but if USG just play positions, play kind of passively on site, just play their anchor positions and take those 50-50s on site with the trade potential behind them, Blue Bees just don't quite have that execute down pat. So a strong start for USG there, finally getting that first round on the board for them. But Blue Bees still have that advantage, and honestly, like Xenox, you've been saying that Oregon, really, USG would be hoping for 4 rounds out of this half, and I mean, I don't see that as very likely. We've got a very defender-sided Oregon in the Japan Championship so far, which you would expect the 4-2. I don't think Donuts is going to be able to do it. I think that the strategy they employ just then, full hurdle, is going to be much less effective on all the other bomb sites.
Yeah, and then that's concerning, right? Because then you think, well, what scoreline can they actually achieve? 3-3 probably doesn't spell doomsday. It does mean they've got a bit of work to do in their own attacking half. I wouldn't say it's completely otherworldly, though, to get the 4-2 from here. It's still possible. A lot of it will come down to also Kid Storms in terms of 3-3. If they can win out on Kid Storms, that opens things up for that being a possibility. They do need to make sure that they're not losing these Valk cameras so early, as CHM watches another one get thrown out of that window. That will be another one that probably gets cleaned up immediately. Just a little thing so far that Blue Bees is doing well.
Yeah, those little things do convert into punishing and I guess reducing the number of options, right, that USG have. Pero really, really wants this, really does. But a bit too ambitious, I think, that peak. See, Blue Bees don't feel too rushed. They can just slowly but surely do what they need to do. And really time efficient as well on other aspects. Like, look, 40 seconds into the round and they've already got control downstairs. That's
you find that?
An opening
you find that?
Oh!
I don't know how DD doesn't die there. Just barely stays alive. And yeah, it even caught my eye how quickly that vert control down below inside a kitchen has been established, and dining, small tower, all of it just basically given up for free. USG, I guess, Dev, answering our question, they are employing that turtle once again, this time over towards Kid Storms. Obviously, they did have a bit of presence over towards Big Tower. Knife himself gets thrown. Oh, that's unfortunate. Can he get it back? Yes, he can.
Oh, no. That's so unfortunate, getting droned as well. That could have been such an impactful nitro had he managed to land it. But yeah, still, Blue Bees having really all the control.
If Diddy even tries to make that cross, Israel will get the kill. It won't take much to down and eliminate that Wamai. But Pero, what's he going to be able to find over here towards Classroom? This is an opportunity maybe to catch someone off guard with an eye. Just Sal throws it out, doesn't find it, gets knocked as well by Ruin. Dev, that is not it!
What on earth was that? I can't believe that didn't work for Pero, and the knife as well, Ruin. This is certainly leaving all sorts for USG, and the execute to come through from Blue Bees with a 2-man advantage. They've got time as well to burn, and another pick as well. Finally, Carwell tries to find one. No doubt there's going to be a trade here within a moment. Surely.
Ooh.
No! Carwell! What is that? Finally traded back into 2v1 for Blue Bees. But Caillou definitely has a chance here.
His only undoing was that he needed to reload. That was the only thing that stopped him dead in his tracks. 1 versus 2. Caillou gets one, could get the second. Nelfa has the opportunity. No! What a round for USG! Caillou at the end.
Oh my god, Carwell and Caillou, insane. I mean, that was a 2 versus 5 for the two of them. I cannot believe they managed to pull it off. They are stoked. A huge round from those two players on USG, pulling the rabbit out of the hat, pulling a round out of somewhere that I'm not even going to mention. That should never have happened, but it did, and that means that the scoreline is now even once again.
Wow. That's a big round. Not just for this half, but for this map, for this entire series. they were staring down the barrel of 3-1. That would have already been confirmed, job done for BlueBees. From that point onwards, everything else was a bonus. But for right now, technically, USG can still even achieve a 4-2 half. That's still a possibility. They win Storms. But here's the kicker. You win Kitchen. I'm assuming Kitchen Meeting. It might be Kitchen. I have to play. Yeah, Kitchen Meeting. You win Kitchen Meeting. Then you get to go back down to Basement to close it out. So there's a real possibility now that 4-2 defense can take place for USG. That would set them up nicely going into the second half. That round has big implications.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. This round has even bigger implications. Like you say, if Donuts USG can manage to win this round, they'll go down to Laundry Supply, which they won quite convincingly with that 5-man anchor strategy. So definitely looking at USG right now, looking at BlueBees to upset, to punish them, to make sure that they can get around here on the tertiary bomb site. Because if not, I mean, that's all sorts of concerning.
Wow, just trying to hide out Fraser, but whether he liked it or not, Palunga was trying to take out the default camera and therefore discovered his location down below. Unfortunately for Palunga, didn't get to take out said default camera, got denied. Well, maybe that was the ploy, to keep that default up for a little bit longer.
Maybe it was part of it. I mean, with this spread out hold, like you look, this unreinforced wall on Meeting, you can see that USG really looking to play quite aggressively here, which is no surprise. It's their bread and butter, seemingly. It does just leave them open to be potentially exploited. That's the second Twitch drone down. DD is in such a power position here with the Ella FO12 shotgun. We really need to see BlueBees devise a way to punish him. And if they take control of Tier 2 of Tower, they should be able to do so. Isro, though, is right around the corner from a defender. That's the only hard breach taken down. Isro, wasn't there a player right next to him? Oh my God! Carwow, sit down, mate. That absolutely should not have happened.
Yeah, and any BlueBees fans are like, why couldn't you do that in the last round? Why couldn't you stop him like that earlier? 4 versus 4, but as has already been touched on, the hard breach down, Sayachan not available, and with still 1 minute to go, that's going to mean that that Meeting wall is going to stay locked up. I don't think it got opened up, unless we missed it. I don't know if we've actually been over there yet.
Because the defense setup was like partially soft, I guess they could breach it with like Ash instead or Jackal's shotgun.
Right.
It doesn't look like that's the main point of contention, so it might not matter so much. And Pero has now finished off Isro and got back to site safely. Palunga's going to have a huge impact here from the dining side. It looks like most of these players for BlueBees are just looking for isolated ones, and it's not going to work when Rento's there. Nelfa does, though, find DD, eventually taking down that shotgun player. But a 2v3 with just 15 seconds left. This is looking desperate. It's looking just about impossible for poor Palunga. Inside, but in a crossfire. Donuts USG, guess what, Xenox? They've done it 3 rounds in a row. Won their primary, won their secondary, and the tertiary bomb site locked in.
Wow. At 2-0, we were probably both sitting back thinking, yep, this one's going to be a very one-sided Oregon. It's the map pick of BlueBees. Their attack's looking great. They'll have the defense to close things out. Started to sort of put into question the chances of that 4-2 half eventuating. They would have needed 4 in a row. Well, now they're just 1 round away from doing so. It really sort of highlights how close these two teams are. In some ways, I, at least, am getting a sense of deja vu from Villa. Strong start for BlueBees. Middle portion, though, the comeback from Donuts USG. Comeback that then turns into taking said lead.
Attackers need to
but
locate and
that final hurdle let them down on Villa. They couldn't take that comeback. They couldn't take that lead and then take the win. They allowed BlueBees back into it. They need to close out this first half 4-2. Then they need to continue on that momentum into the second half. That is now the goal here for USG moving forward.
BlueBees have certainly got a lot of work to do, a long road ahead of them. They've won this laundry supply attack before, but that was when they really punished this early and mid-round aggression from USG. When USG decided to just anchor more solely on site, BlueBees struggled much more. What's going on upstairs, though? Rento, I think, was like opening some rotations and stuff. Interesting strategy. Like, it looks like, just from the operator lineup purely, that this is going to be a pretty strong, like, sight hold. We got 2 shields. Oh, this is going to be a rush. Here it goes for Ruin.
Attackers have dropped the bomb.
Ruin straight over towards Elbow, which of course is open for the taking. He had the headshot as well. Goodness. Are you? Probably shouldn't have even been alive, but Ruin missed all of those shots. And now it's a 2-man advantage for Donuts USG to close out this first half on the defense. They have been given a bit of a freebie here by BlueBees.
I mean, that was such a good read from BlueBees. Like, there was really no good setup in blue. Like, that made sense to rush, but for some reason, Donuts USG were aware, and like they read into that, played that really strong angle. Now the 3v5 is nigh impossible for BlueBees. It looks like it's going to be a 4-2 split for Donuts USG. They can just hold passive. Like, they really shouldn't peek. They don't need to, but they're going to anyway, I guess. A good swing as Nelfa gets a little bit too aggressive on the rear stairs. It is dominating. Sayachan versus 5 with 1 drone in the pocket. I can't believe it.
And I know it's still relatively early, technically, in the piece here on Oregon, but I'm somewhat sensing Coastline might be needed to decide these 2 teams. I mentioned coming into this game that we've already seen in other best of 3s here at the Japan Championship a case of teams taking each other's map picks. It's not something that's otherworldly. It's not beyond the realms of comprehension. It's been done and done multiple times in Siege history. It's not out of the possibilities, and USG will be closing out a 4-2.5 defensively on Oregon. It is kind of where we bring it back a little bit, right? Because you mentioned already the significantly high defensive win rate on Oregon for teams in the Japanese region. So in theory, it's not really like a celebratory accomplishment for USG, right? It's almost like, all right, well, we did kind of what we were expected to do. So now, can we see BlueBees do the same as well on their defense here in Oregon?
I like this from our observer, just getting a nice view of the crops. What kind of trees are they? Are they apple trees? I couldn't quite tell. I swear I thought I saw some kind of fruit.
Probably the seasoned mangoes, maybe?
Mangoes? Is Oregon warm enough to have mango plants?
I don't know.
I very much doubt it.
5 seconds remaining.
I very
Pears?
much doubt it. What? Could be pears. Are pears a cold weather fruit? We're really testing our knowledge right now. I really don't know this. All I know for certain is that BlueBees just took that round to kind of chill after the failed rush. They sat back. USG once again animated. I just absolutely love seeing the reactions from USG. They're a team that really just, they come from the Japan Open, not even in the Japan League, but they just chill. Like, they just hang out, they have a good time. They make the most of this opportunity they're given and make sure to enjoy it.
Yeah, which is really good. You can see it on their faces, for them especially. At times, there's been some animation from BlueBees, yet not as much, and that's okay. I think they had more animation when they were playing against Sengoku Gaming, to be completely honest. They were the underdogs in that game, and maybe now they came into this one with some expectations to a degree, so a little bit more locked in, a little bit more focused, and that's exactly what they're going to need to be here in the second half. Now on the defense of Oregon, need to see a little bit more from them. For USG, can they take that first half momentum and bring it over to their attack? It's not going to be easy. We are expecting BlueBees to do well on the defense. And as I always like to mention though, Kid Storm, such a important site on Oregon.
You do love to mention that, don't you?
Well, it ended up being Kid Storms where that big clutch came through for USG. Otherwise, we might have been looking at a 3-3 half.
Look at this drone. There's a drone just hiding in that desk. Ruin spends all this time reinforcing, shooting, and placing a vault cam. Like, there is no doubt that the player on that drone would know exactly what was happening there. Oh, isn't it exciting? If USG can win this map and push to all three, wouldn't know who to back on the final map, because USG actually did look strong on Villa as well. They just didn't quite have the conviction to lock it out, and that's something that Bluebees seem to be able to achieve a little bit better, that perseverance from them. And that does make me think, like,
going over to Coastline though, the roam game of Bluebees I think would open up a little bit more.
It's probably true, but we've seen I've got good aggression from both these teams, so wouldn't be surprised to see that on Coastline. That said, I feel like Bluebees are better at shutting down aggression, so yeah, it's very hard to predict. We might not get there. It's still a significant chance. Bluebees could come back here like they did on Villa.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Obviously, it was that mid portion of Villa that we started to see Bluebees find an avenue forward, deny 2 match points as well to boot. So we'll see if they can bring back this 2-round deficit.
Attackers have located a bomb.
They did technically get off to a better start on Villa. They got up to that 3-1 scoreline, so they weren't able to achieve that here on Oregon. This is probably even more defender-sided than Villa anyway, so you got expectations. Nades have been such a big factor in this best-of-3 series, and once again, it will be a factor. DD with the opening kill. Traded though. Isro gets one onto Kawau, and then Pero dies immediately afterwards to Sage, and easy kill though for Renren. Minute and 10 seconds remaining, 3v3.
They're inside.
On site as well.
Yeah, okay. Hello, Caillou is just in kids' dorms in the bomb site. And Sayachan does go down, but that said,
What?
I think there was a gas kill and an SMG kill there from one of the Bluebees
Did he like
players.
peek from top wide or something to get that kill?
Must have done. All through the vert, there was vert as well on site. Nonetheless, an opening defense round for Bluebees.
Yeah, an opening defense that apparently was quite Swiss cheese in its approach of actually defending, but they found the kills, right? So it was like a Swiss cheese that had some good knives, poking some holes back the other way. Very open defense for kids' dorms. I mean, typically, if we're going to see it, it's probably on that particular site right here on Oregon, but very back and forth. It wasn't early on. It was about the minute 10 mark where it all sort of exploded, but boy, did it explode and start and end within about 20-30 seconds. Don't know really what to take away from that other than it's just a round win for Bluebees. A much needed one though, to be fair. Obviously we had seen USG win 4 rounds in a row. At some point you need to bring back momentum to your side, get that, suddenly 3-4 scoreline. Looks things are a lot closer. And it's like Villa all over again. This sort of back and forth nature. Neither team is able to really pull ahead. We're not anticipating in any way, shape or form 7-2 or 7-3 kind of scorelines. We're expecting 7-5s or OTs only.
So, Bluebees, they can lock up here on defense. They can start to redeem themselves. Been quite a drought on their attack. The Vigil, hey, for Isro? Yeah, I mean, give Isro the license to go roam, and anything is possible. That said, we've seen on Villa, if USG can try and pressure site and not really allow Isro to get fed, he can be fairly ineffectual.
Yeah, I mean, my only concern though, and we've seen it time and time again when playing Laundry Supply, is that if that roamer dies pretty early on in the piece, that 4v5 that opens up for the attacking team, really just is so easy to capitalize on. So you basically need Isro at minimum to trade 1-for-1. Ideally, finding an opening pick, doesn't find anything from that lobby entrance.
Ooh, this is surely a kill.
This could be really, really a disaster for Isro. Gets droned out. Can he make the cross back downstairs? It looked like he will be able to do so and get out scot-free.
That said, being Jackal tracked, surely this is the moment when he decides to go downstairs. Yeah, indeed, the clash there to support Polonga. And Isro gets downstairs. Oh no, the Jaeger of Nelfa is just around the corner from this roam clearer. And he's going to be able to take down Pero. That is such a big kill. That is the Mav, one of the main hard breaches down. 2 nades gone. This roam from Bluebees is proving to be too much to handle for USG.
Yeah, and Ren, this is his final Inox scanner as well that's going to be utilized. So he's got no more. He can't track anything else now. Nalfa.
no.
Oh, now he definitely can't track anything else. The man's dead. That's a great roam game from Bluebees for Laundry Supply. That's one done to perfection. They should win the round from here. I can't see a way that Donuts are going to win it. 3v5 on basement.
Yeah, look, while some of those hatches might already be pre-opened by the defense, Bluebees just have such strong operators to kind of hold passive positions. And it's going to be nigh impossible for USG to really burn through this. Like, you look at the utility game, they're lacking a lot. Just 3 flashes and 2 nades on the lineup. Here come some of those flashes, some of those nades they need to make good, but you know, the ADS is just going to chew up that nade. Now there's a shield that they've got to go and contest. Like, there is no way walking into that crossfire is going to work out. Can ruin any hopes. Bluebees, flawless.
Yeah, don't need to be able to read Japanese to understand what that big yellow word or words entail. Flawless round has been achieved, and that's now 2 rounds in a row defensively for Bluebees. The way they started as well on the attack, so technically it's like 2-4-2 in this match so far at the 4-4 scoreline. So after 8 rounds have conceded, we are now obviously in that predicament once again, where it's that even scoreline as it was earlier on Villa. But it was around this point though, Dev, if we remember back to Villa, that we saw USG win sort of the next 2 kind of rounds to get that 6-4 scoreline to achieve match point. As we know, Bluebees brought it back. Maybe now Bluebees could be the team defensively in the position to achieve that match point. And as we know, 100% strike rate.
True. Bluebees definitely looking like they've found some form here on their defense. That said, you know, now they move to their tertiary side, Xenox, and that's going to be quite the challenge. USG, this is their best opportunity they've had so far this game to find an attacking round win.
10 seconds
I
left.
wonder what they've got planned, because they've got some cheeky little sneak operators that have slipped into the lineup here. We've got, you know, the normal Twitch, Yana, Maverick. The Nook, not too much of a surprise as well, but it is that Amaru that is kind of just catching my eye, making me wonder what is Pinto planning, what is the idea here? Is there something specific? Is there a set piece in mind for Donuts USG? Some kind of rush, maybe trying to take control of kids' dorms through the window early, maybe attic. It's just such a big risk, and I don't know, it's hard to say that right now is the time to be taking risks for USG.
Deploying shock drone.
All right,
Cool.
that's insight. Akawa, there you go.
Yep, that's 2 kills as well. Ren finds a second, and talk about taking risks, and why not just go for another round of risks. Maybe it all pays off this time, although Koao just looks a little bit bamboozled right now. I swear the man is just doing spins and circles, anticipating someone to peek him, and he picks into security. Easy kill onto Nalfa. Diffuser, I think, though. Is that up in attic? We got only a small glimpse of it. Pero. That's a big kill onto Ruin. Koao loses a lot of his life, to say it, Chan. He's actually over towards meeting. Diffuser has been picked up, and that's going to be another kill to Pero. Talk about a pretty clean round from Donuts USG to regain the lead, 5-4.
Look, there you go. I said maybe is risk's really the right thing to be doing right now. Yeah, just rush. I mean, it was a well thought out rush. I didn't see all the info that USG had, but particularly Carwow just kind of walked through split, walked onto that meeting site, walked onto kitchen, and you could see because Bluebees had invested so heavily their manpower into that roam game, meant that those site anchors just had the ground beneath them fall through and fell to their demise. USG, quite a statement to make. And now they're going to have to replicate that on some of these other sites. Maybe not with that level of risk-taking, but maybe with the confidence that they've managed to get by retaking the lead.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Well, they've been in this position before, of course. Donuts USG, they had that 5-4 lead on Villa, they converted it. They made it 6-4. They got 2 match points. That, though, they were unable to convert. Saying that that aggression from USGs, that's something that they can actually rely on every single round. I'm not so sure. I think BlueBees are the kind of team that we've seen more than enough that they're capable of dealing with that kind of aggression over at Villa, and obviously a little bit here on Oregon as well. So it's kind of like you win 1 out of the war of 10, but BlueBees have been winning generally more of those kind of rounds when that kind of aggression does take place. So for USG, yes, they get the lead back. Yes, they win the round. But now, can they do it again? Not so sure.
Isro once again on the forefront of this roam game. Remember, this is a Dorms defense. You can see, compared to the way that USG were defending Dorms, BlueBees are really extending and looking to contest that map control so much more strongly. Early damage onto 2 of the USG players. I don't quite know how that happened. Perhaps a little bit of a wallbang pre-fire from Nelfa.
Bomb located by
What
attacker.
is the plan here for USG? They're 1 round off match point where they found themselves before. 6-4 was still not enough of an advantage for them to close out Villa. Let's see if they can find themselves in a similar position once again. Oh, one tap!
No way.
Good night!
A bomb has been located.
Night for Nelfa. An opportunity again presents itself for Donuts USG. Man advantage, something that they've really been able to establish a little bit more of here on Oregon. Those kind of opening picks, these kind of opportunities early on in these rounds, they've been just getting a bit better at as this series has continued on.
Oh, here he goes.
Wow, straight onto sight with the knock straight into
no.
pit. Oh, no chance for Bonga.
There's no one on site!
No one's home! They've all gone shopping, they've all gone on vacation! Donuts USG will be up 6-4 just as they were on Villa. 2 match points.
It looks like Kawau has just, he's got a license to walk onto the objective. They can hardly believe it. They're having a good old laugh about that. And BlueBees definitely not having a laugh. They've just been rushed 2 rounds in a row. It might not have been at the start of the round on Dorms just there, but Kawau bided his time, waited for the opportunity, and then just sent it. Just hit that button, hit that Nook presence reduction, walk on through, no one home. Like you said, it's pretty easy to do a robbery when there's no security guards at the venue.
No one watching the front door, no one watching the back door, no one at home. But again, we've seen USG in this position with a 2 match point advantage. We saw them do it on Villa. And who knows, maybe in another universe, Dev, they actually won one of those match points and won on Villa and have done then here again. We honestly could have been looking at a 2-0 where we say BlueBees played well, they were good, but USG were just much better in finishing off these matches. And yet, they obviously weren't better at finishing off the match on Villa. And I would imagine Laundry Supply is most likely going to be very difficult to win this, right? So you guess where I'm going with this. It's basically going to come down to Kid Storms.
Yeah, I mean, it always does, mate, doesn't it? It always does with you. Kids Dorms is where it happens. But hey, I think there's a solid chance here that USG could give Laundry Supply a good crack. Now, it didn't quite work out for them before, and they did get flawless. What actually happened that round? I'm trying to remember. That wasn't a rush attempt, was it? I think it was just a slow but sure roam game from BlueBees, which looks to be similar to what we're seeing from them this time around. Isro roaming in Garage, a very risky position to play. Like, there is a solid chance he could get cut off and never see the site.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Sometimes you need that risk versus reward, though. Sometimes when you're looking for something, you need to give a little bit. And he's obviously giving away position, but looking to find that kill. Also means he's probably less likely to maybe get droned out as well from that sort of position. Makes it very difficult to pinpoint him there, of course, being on the vigil.
Oh, he's going to get scanned. He's a dead man walking. Maybe he can find one kill with it. If he uses his ability, he can walk without being detected by the Lion scan. Oh, he gets the wall bang! As if Isro can drag down Caillou with him and the impact! Oh my god, that was dead on bullseye! He's just waiting. He's waiting for someone, says, come and get it! I'll drag as many of you down with me as I can. Here comes the E1D. He walks straight through it. Finally, the wall bang gets the job done. But Isro is a thorn in their side.
He just got 2 kills though for Donuts USG. They've got a 1-man advantage. He just pushed into Freezer, found 2 kills while all of that was taking place. Surely Bolunga, though he doesn't hold the angle, he falls back. He could have pinched him. He had him stuck. He had him dead to rights and he falls off. Still holding a decent angle. Minute 15 seconds. Double match point for USG. Need to deal with the Twitch inside of Freezer before the rest of the cavalry arrives to save the day. That's what they're doing now. They got that diffuser. Now they've made their way over. And now Bolunga. Oh, good headshot! Oh, just executes them both! That should be the man advantage for Bluebees to win the round from here. Still has pillar control, and Renren's got no health, and neither does DD.
DD so close to taking down Saya-chan, but got to walk into this crossfire. It looks like this may have been won by Palunga in Freezer. He's got the diffuser down as well. Donuts USG on the cusp of their match point. Okay, maybe it's still winnable. 25 seconds, but Palunga again. He's gonna send this further deeper into the match, and Rento's not even gonna give it a crack. What a showing from Bluebees.
Wow, we just all can just now take a deep breath off that round. 5-6. Timeout has been called. Surely it doesn't happen again, Dev. Sure. That extra aggression that they've shown has actually been working on sites elsewhere of laundry supply. So that was Kitchen Meeting and obviously Kids Dorms. The aggression factor of USG has actually been very successful. They'll be playing into that again, I would imagine. Once again, also with the double hard breach, so they can very much open up quite a lot of extensive sight lines. I think in previous rounds, they've actually done a decent job in finding kills early on sites like Kids Dorms.
5 seconds left.
Bluebees, how do they play into this? How are they going to set up defensively here for Kids Dorms? Do they extend extensively? Do they go for Vert? Do they push over to something like Big Tower and try and catch people coming in? Remains to be seen. It is match point though for Donuts USG.
Looks like Bluebees are very much holding on to the site, not roaming whatsoever. It's going to give a lot of free real estate up to Donuts USG as they start to push on forward. You can see how cautious they are of these aggressive roams. Car was in a great position as well, ready when needed to just smack that window and start putting some pressure at top white stairs. Backs on off, doesn't want to take any unnecessary risks.
Located a bomb.
Here comes a nade over through. Is there an ADS or a magnet to protect that position at pit? Looks like there is not one. Oh, okay, there's a couple, and indeed, look at that. The stack of util, it's not going to get cleared.
Yeah, very deep into pit. Got the ADSs. Still though, time-wise for USG, I don't mind this. Obviously got the Repel game over in Kids. Then you've also getting Attic Wall opened up slowly. Pero just coming through Shower's corridor, can now play from bot white. Still, of course, that player inside of security, which is Saya-chan. This could be the deciding moment here. If Saya-chan pushes out of security to try and pinch Pero, once information is known through that barbed wire, through these shots, that there's a player top white, does he push out? Pero expecting it, doesn't happen. There's the engagement between the two of them. Saya-chan comes off second best. He is lower on health. Pero, though, falls back, can no longer play that white stairs position for the time being, with 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining.
Here comes the Twitch drone, does spot out once again. Sayachan's position. He's going to play it passively with the shotgun. He knows that's how he's going to be favored in the engagement. As Pero always keen to take these aggressive gunfights. You can see DD coming to support as well. Oh, the vertical angle is so close. Just on the other side of the hard wall.
Pinged out.
Surely DD's got some information. Surely he does. The bait comes through. Sayachan is down, but Palunga has punished Pero. 40 seconds left for Donuts to lock it in regulation.
Magnet catches that nade. Oh, Palunga goes down, never mind. 30 seconds left. They don't have the smoke. The gas babe's no longer available. Ruin watching double window. Top white stairs now fully controlled for USG.
Oh,
Where's
no.
Israel? He gets shut down by Renra, and so does Ruin. We hit the coastline.
They have done it. It took them 6 tries. But Donuts USG, they managed to do it. They lock in a match point round. And Coastline is going to be needed to settle this between these two teams.